Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo. Then we can be assured that other nations will not treat America with respect, the respect that we deserve.
What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American Politics, back in with a new video. As you could tell from the last 15 seconds or so, we officially have an intro. I know this is big news, the world is ending, but it's a basic intro that I made because, kind of have to, give some flair at the start of the video. But before we even talk about today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with friends, hit the little bell, and yes. And as you can tell from the title, this is going to be the final Texas governor's race before tomorrow, which, by the way, tomorrow at 6:50 Central Standard Time, or 7:50 Eastern Standard Time, I will begin a live stream for the first election night of 2022. It's going to be very fun, and I recommend everybody joins. The polls don't technically close till 7 p.m. Central Standard Time or 8 p.m. Eastern Time, but whatever. That's just, starting soon stuff, and yeah. So the stream link will be up later today. I'll post on the community tab. I'll post in the comments down below so you guys can get hyped because it's going to be a very fun stream. And we're going to be talking about what I think the race will look like, who I think will win, all that good stuff. And we're going to talk about recent polling and who I want to win. So everybody knows my opinion on Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott is, how do I say, very overrated by the Republicans. I don't understand why people shill for this guy. Like, yeah, he's great on guns. I mean, the meme potential of this guy is 10 out of 10. But as a governor, he is, to be quite frank, not very good. I mean, he has stunk as governor. He's done basically jack shit. I mean, it took him essentially 8 years, or 7 to 8 years, of being the governor of the biggest state the Republicans ever win, every cycle, to actually be conservative. The only reason he actually passed stuff like the heartbeat bill, the abortion stuff, all of that, was because he had primary challengers to the right of him, forcing him to actually do that. And we're going to talk about them. Now, I'm not going to talk with Chad Prather. That guy's a meme. That guy is just there. I think he's just shitposting. And I won't talk about the other Rick Perry that's running, though I think he'll siphon off some votes from Abbott. We're going to be mostly talking about Don Huffines and Allen West. Now, Don Huffines is very, how do I say this, based on the issues. And you look at his issues, and to say that he's based on the issues is an understatement. I mean, border security, eliminate property taxes. Again, taxes should not be number one issue, but if it actually matters to a state or a local area like New Jersey or some shit like that, run on it. And in Texas, when it comes to property taxes, like here in Wisconsin, the property tax system's a joke. It hurts poor people, and it's a scam. I mean, he's talking about social media censorship, critical race theory. He is the reason that Greg Abbott actually did something about critical race theory. Remember that Huffines was one to break the story that, hey, the state agencies, yeah, they're teaching critical race theory to the extreme to those state employees. So without him, we would still be dealing with critical race theory in all levels of government in the great state of Texas. And you keep going on. Texas values, the power grid. If you don't know about the power grid situation in Texas, look it up. It should not happen in the 21st century, how the state runs out of power when, 2-mile-per-hour winds with snow hits it. I mean, that's just garbage. I mean, this is what happens when you over-rely on, wind power in some areas. But that's just here or there. But you get the point, the power grid is a scam in Texas. It needs massive fixing, and Greg Abbott has done nothing about it. Then you got term limits. I mean, that's just, obvious. I don't necessarily agree with them. Like, if somebody's, very popular and very effective as a governor or representative, he should stay in there. But I do agree that some of these people that's been in Congress for, 60 years they're old as hell, then yeah, maybe they shouldn't be allowed to run again. There should be some kind of an age restriction on how old these people can be to run, but that's just me. And of course, health freedom, confronting China. The fact that he's talking about China as a Texas candidate shows you all you need to know about this guy. I mean, the fact he's talking about China, cryptocurrency, gun rights, in Texas, this is good stuff. And you get the point that Huffines is definitely to the right of Abbott. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he's like a neo-Nazi or anything like that. He's more like, kind of like a libertarian-esque, conservative populist. That's how I really say it. He's libertarian on some issues, like, hey, the government should not tax everybody to hell and back. But at the same time, he's more populist, like, hey, these people should not be serving in government for, 100 years. And it's good stuff of Don Huffines. But he isn't the only good candidate. And I originally did not like Allen West. I thought the guy was a fraud. He was a former Texas GOP chairman. I thought he was the main issue with Texas's GOP. I was wrong about it. I looked more into him. He is a solid candidate. Not as based at Huffines, not saying that, but talking about things that actually matter. Rule of law. The first thing. I don't think I've ever seen a Republican or any candidate talk about rule of law. That's a first. Of course, border security, that's a big thing. Protecting Texas children and families. This is good stuff. And I like the fact that he wants to, go after kind of the radical LGBT community. I love it when they do this stuff. When Republicans say this stuff, they're actually pretty based on the issues. It is pretty good when they attack the LGBT community. It's not saying that old people that are gay or stuff are bad. I'm just saying the community as a whole is just disgusting. Now, I'm glad that Republicans are starting to fight back against this stuff. Glad that Allen West is mentioning it. Fighting, all this garbage of just oh, we're going to abort children in a late term, but if they do survive, we're going to turn them into women. That's essentially what's happening in this country. And I'm glad that Republicans are finally talking about these issues that matter. Again, Allen West not as based as Don Huffines. But compared to Greg Abbott, he is based. He's actually to the right of Abbott significantly. Now, I am going to glance over the Democrat race because it's really going to be... I literally don't think there's anybody... Well, yeah. You get Beto O'Rourke running. That's it. That's really all you have. There's no serious candidates. Whoever Beto runs against, Beto's going to lose by 20 points. At this point, he's a flip-flopper. He's like, oh, I support, take away your guns, but now that I'm running for Texas's governorship, I'm all in favor of guns. I'm pro-Second Amendment. The guy's getting exposed as a fraud. He did after 2018, but it's just sad seeing Beto go down this route. That 2018, sure, he was cringe on some issues, but considering the Democrats, even now, he was more of a blue-collar Democrat. Now, not necessarily a good one, but still hey, I'm fighting for the working man. I'm not going to be this cringe woke stuff. Well, after 2018, I don't know what happened to him. He ran for president, and it went down the tubes. So, that's that. So, whoever Beto runs against, he's going to get crushed by a lot. So, the question is this. Who do I think will win? And you look at the polling here, it has Greg Abbott above, 60% recently. Here's my thing, though. These polls are either bad pollsters like University of Tyler, or they're just so low sampled like YouGov, Emerson College, that it's you can't make a good prediction out of that. So I looked somewhat at the polling, alright, that actually had a good sample size. I looked at some internals. I have heard some of the internals from all the candidates and kind of averaged it together to give a final prediction, to give my gut feeling on some things. And for the first time, folks, this is another groundbreaking thing. Let me just switch over to the final prediction page. And there it is. As you can tell, I actually put effort into my videos. I'm joking, I always put effort. But this is my final prediction. This is going to be a screen I'm going to use for when I make final predictions for any kind of race, like a governorship, all of that stuff. And in my opinion, I think Greg Abbott, if the incumbency still matters to an extent, will avoid a runoff. He'll get around 55% of the vote. Huffines, I think, will take second, either way. Ellen West, very close, but will be third. All the others, including Chad Prather, Rick Perry clone, all that stuff, probably around 12.5%. Now, I didn't make a slide for this, but if the incumbency advantage doesn't matter, it's going to go to a runoff between Greg Abbott and Don Huffines. So, it's going to matter of if it goes a runoff. If it goes a runoff, I think Huffines wins. Or Allen West, whoever. But I think it's going to be Huffines number 2. I just think that his campaign, based on some of the internals I heard, which, by the way, again, internals take with a grain of salt, but these are actual internals that are meant to actually campaign on. It seems like he's going to be second place no matter what. Abbott is just borderline above 50%. But going with the undecided stuff, the Trump endorsement, I think Abbott will avoid a runoff just barely. But again, if the incumbency still somewhat matters in this country, like, a 5-6 point shift, that's what would happen, 55%. But if it doesn't, well, Abbott will be under 50% in my opinion. He'll go to a runoff, and I think Huffines would win in that situation. But either way, I think Republicans win either way. They're getting a more conservative governor. That's what we can ask for. This is a best case scenario. Either you get Huffines, who's a Chad, get Allen West, who's pretty good, or Abbott is forced to, become more conservative. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with friends, hit the little bell, and yes, again, look out for the community tab later tonight. I'll be posting a link to tomorrow's stream, which, be ready, folks. That's going to be an intriguing primary. Anyways, I hope everybody enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.